My partner mocks my anxiety and calls it just jokes. I 25F have anxiety that comes in waves, sometimes manageable, sometimes crushing. It's something I've been open about since the beginning of my relationship with my partner 27M. In the early months, he was understanding and gentle when I spiraled. He'd sit with me, breathe with me, even help me ground myself. But slowly, almost without me noticing, his tone shifted from comforting to playful, then from playful to outright mocking. It started when he jokingly mimicked the way I rub my hands when I'm nervous. He did it in front of his friends one night, and everyone laughed. I froze, embarrassed, but brushed it off because I didn't want to seem sensitive. Except it didn't stop at mimicking my hands. He started repeating my anxious thoughts back to me in a childish voice. If I said, "I'm worried I might have messed up at work," he'd scrunch up his face and say, "Oh no, what if the world ends because you forgot an email?" Then he'd laugh like he was doing some great bit of comedy. If I flinched at loud noises, he'd mock flinch dramatically beside me. If I paced during a panic episode, he'd follow behind me, imitating every step. I kept telling myself he didn't mean harm, that he was trying to lighten the mood, but the more it happened, the more I felt small and ridiculous. Anxiety already makes you feel abnormal. Being laughed at for it amplifies the shame tenfold. When I finally confronted him, he looked genuinely confused. He said humor was how he copes with stress, that I was overthinking it, and that he'd never joke about something if he knew it actually hurt me. Except I had told him before, multiple times, that it did hurt. He always insisted I misunderstood him. He'd follow it up with, "You know I love you. You know I don't mean it like that." And because I didn't want to fight, I'd drop it. But each time it happened again, it chipped away at something inside me. The turning point came when we visited his family for his sister's birthday. At one point, I had a small anxiety spike because the room was cramped and loud. He immediately started mocking my breathing, exaggerating the way I inhale when I'm trying not to panic. His cousins laughed. His mom looked uncomfortable. I felt humiliated. I went to the bathroom and stayed there for longer than I needed to. When I came out, his sister quietly pulled me aside into the hallway. She said, "I want you to know it's not you. He's done this with every girl he's dated." I didn't even know what to say. She explained that he uses humor as a deflection tactic. Whenever someone gets emotional, vulnerable, or distressed, he instantly tries to make fun of it so he doesn't have to feel anything himself. She said his last girlfriend struggled with depression and he used to mock her sad face. When she cried about it, he told her she was being dramatic. The relationship ended because she felt constantly belittled. Hearing that made something sink deep into my stomach. Not only was this not a misunderstanding, it was a pattern. On the drive home, he asked why I seemed distant. I told him what his sister said. His reaction was instant defensiveness. He said she hates when he jokes and always makes him look bad. He said she exaggerated. He said his ex was unstable anyway. He said everyone was too sensitive and he couldn't babysit emotions all the time. He said mocking was an abuse, and if I felt hurt, that was on me. His words felt like cold water. That was the first time he wasn't even pretending to care how I felt. Since then, I've been paying attention. Every time I show vulnerability, fear, stress, embarrassment, he treats it like material. A bit. A punchline. Something to shape into a joke he can throw into the room. But the worst part isn't the public moments. It's the private ones. When I'm in bed shaking from panic and he sighs dramatically and says, "Here we go again." When I tell him something scares me, he smirks. When I flinch and he laughs. When I ask him to please stop, and he responds with, "Relax, it's not that deep." The more I think about it, the more I realize I've started hiding my anxiety from him. I don't tell him when I'm struggling anymore. I pretend I'm fine even when I feel like my chest is caving in. I push down panic so I won't give him material. It's taken something that should feel safe, vulnerability with a partner, and turned it into something humiliating. And now I'm stuck wondering if the person I fell for was real or if he was only gentle in the beginning because everything was new. Maybe he never actually knew how to handle emotions and humor became his shield. But a shield can still hurt people when it's constantly pointed at them. I keep thinking about his sister's face when she told me I wasn't the first. I keep thinking about his ex and how she probably felt the same way I do now. And I keep thinking about the version of myself I become around him, smaller, quieter, overly cautious, always bracing for a joke. I love him. But I'm starting to realize love doesn't fix someone who mocks the parts of you that are hardest to live with. And I don't know how much more of this I can take.